And what is going on, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, the one and only, the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. Great to be back talking all things wrestling with you all. Took a very nice extended break, had some work in between and some personal stuff, but we're here tonight covering SummerSlam weekend. What better way to talk about SummerSlam weekend than first by talking about tonight's WWE NXT Takeover Brooklyn event that came to us from the Barclays Center. Hey, I want to hear from you guys that did not get a chance to see the event, interact. Those of you that watched the event, I definitely want to hear from you guys. Hit us up a number of ways. You can hit me up on Twitter at the RCWR Show, Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's with an E, spell out one. Infinity One Productions. All the links you need is in the episode description. And of course, we are doing a special simulcast for you guys right now on this Saturday night of August 22nd, 2015. We are live right now on YouTube, so feel free to poke your head in there, comment over there. We also have the chat room on Spreaker right now as we're live on there as well. So you got a number of ways that you can interact with yours truly for the next little bit. This is pretty much my reaction to what just concluded off the break. Fantastic freaking event. Definitely worth checking out. I gotta stress that for those of you that did not check out NXT, you saw the tweets, you're like, let me see what Lee's gonna be saying tonight, if this is something I need to go out of my way to check out. Yes, 1,000 times over, yes, this NXT event is definitely something that you need to go out of your way and check out, because when I just look at it overall, I'm going to tackle it from a couple of different standpoints, and then I'll just go over the card in its entirety and I'll shed a little bit of light on it. This is going to be like an hour show. I just want to let you guys know that right now, because I know this NXT event, it started kind of late, as we're kind of used to NXT events coming on a little bit earlier. I know we had the pre-show that was at 8:30, and then the actual event itself kicked off at 9. But I know some of you guys are, especially on a Saturday, you're kind of used to checking out your stuff a little bit earlier in the week at an earlier time and all that. But production value, it really didn't surprise me that they were going to put a lot into tonight's NXT special, given the fact that in less than 24 hours, they're going to be doing their thing at the Barclays Center with SummerSlam. So I definitely, when I was just thinking from a production value standpoint going into tonight's event, I definitely was saying to myself, they surely had invested some type of money into the NXT stage props, attire, and all that. Surely they're going to have these guys come out looking like $1 million freaking dollars. And sure enough, I mean, if the video package, if you will, the intro didn't really let you know, yeah, they're going all balls out for this one. I don't know what really would have convinced you. I would hope otherwise when it came to Tyler Breeze's entrance, because his match against Jushin Thunder Liger was the first match to kick off the NXT TakeOver special. But it was awesome seeing Triple H in there in the middle of the ring, got the spotlight on him and everything, and he's basically given this nice, clever history of where NXT has come from taking over to Rival, Redemption, and all that. It was really nice the way that he kind of twisted his words a little bit, setting up the fact that here they are now, they're taking over everywhere. It's Brooklyn, and great opening from Triple H. You all got to go out of your way to check that out. I know that's definitely something that was trending on social media, was the Triple H video package. So I know for a fact if you have Twitter or Facebook, you'll definitely be able to see it on there. Not sure about the other platforms just yet, but definitely on those two platforms, the video package was on. Also, I thought the commentating team, the main commentating team at that, for most of the night, I got to give my hat off to, or I don't have a hat right now, so I'll just rub my bald head, my sexy bald head, as the ladies say instead. But I will definitely rub my head to Byron Saxton. He's coming along very well Those of you that's been with us for a long time, you know how critical I was of his work in particular when it came to him hosting WWE Raw by himself for a few segments after Brock Lesnar had took out Booker T, JBL, Michael Cole, and it was basically like, what's going on with these guys? And we had Byron Saxton for a few segments who was just struggling. Even after Jerry the King Lawler came out, Byron was still struggling, and I was very vocal about it. And I got to tell you, since that point to now, Byron Saxton has been doing a really good job in perfecting the craft. It seems like he has just become a big old sponge absorbing criticism, constructive, good, bad, just anything that he can get. He's taking it, he's turning it in, and he is using it to his advantage. He's coming along very well. I've got no problem with Byron Saxton. Commentating he did tonight, fantastic. Corey Graves, fantastic job. Rich Brennan, I believe that's his name. This guy, look, everybody makes fumbles. I will definitely be man enough to admit that I make my fumbles as well. The big difference between me and these guys that you see that are officially dubbed as commentators, play-by-play guys, the big difference is these guys are paid to make sure that like they are on point. They're mentioning this, they're mentioning that, and everything just has this great fluid, just perfect fluid, motion, if you will. Everything is just so crystal clear. Everything is just so perfect. And, when these guys mess up, I'm sure you would imagine there's a lot of pressure that's on them depending on who's in their ear. It could be old man Vince. It could be Kevin Dunn. No telling who it could be. But with this Rich guy, every time I hear Rich gives me the impression that he has not been a lifelong wrestling fan. Rich gives me the impression, I was having this conversation with somebody on Twitter about this guy because I was like, who is this guy? What is his name? I know the face when I see him, but I always forget his name. And the fact that I keep forgetting his name, that's not a good thing, because I could sit here and spend 10 minutes naming all of the WWE play-by-play guys I've seen over the years that I thought were very good. I could think about the folks that were doing backstage interviews. I could be here almost all night just going through the names just off the break. I don't want to bore you with that. But the fact that I can remember all of these people's names, for me, is a testament of just how much I enjoyed their work, how pleasant I thought they were. With this Rich guy, as I was saying to somebody on Twitter, I said, every time I hear this guy open his freaking mouth, he sounds like he is not really prepared. He sounds like he's not talking from the heart. He doesn't sound passionate with great conviction in his voice that he knows what he's saying. Perfect case in mind. Perfect point. At one point, we see Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, all right? And we hear Rich, he goes, oh, hey, look who's here joining us tonight. It's Kevin Nash, it's Scott Hall, and it's X-Pac. You can't make this stuff up. He actually called X-Pac X-Pac. I'm thinking, wait a minute. And I was watching this with my girl. I said, did he just say X-Pac, like backpack, but X-Pac? And she's like, I'm pretty sure we heard that right. Yeah, I actually rewinded it, and sure enough, he said X-Pac, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm thinking maybe he's nervous, whatever, man. Then later on, I think actually a little bit after that, we hear him say, I think NXT took over. He was trying to say use the hashtag NXT Takeover, but he said something else, and you could hear Byron and Corey. They kind of got on him a little bit. They didn't grill him too bad, but we saw and heard Rich say, here you go, right there, like that one. And, he's owning up to messing up. Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate a man's man that owns up to making a mistake. All right, we aren't perfect. But then you have like this sports company or organization that donates a boatload of money to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's little Connor cure. They contributed a significant amount of money, and the guy was fumbling with the name of this company. You could see him trying to read his notes, and you got Byron and Corey, they're looking at him like they got these grins on their faces, but it's like this frozen grin that just looks like, come on, man, get your crap together already. We gotta string this bad boy along. We gotta work this bad boy. You could see that they were looking, trying to help him find his line, but it's not like they could jump in and just. So he was actually struggling there, trying to just find his way until, yeah, I mean, he was like trying to kill so much time looking for the name of the sports company that donated to the Connor's Cure. And Rich, look. I know we have a few people in WWE, to my knowledge, they check out our show from time to time. Not ego talking or anything. It's just a well-known fact. To the point that some of our videos that we've done for YouTube covering WWE, some of it became so popular, WWE, they decided, you know what, we actually want to put our ads against this video instead of yours, but you can still have the bragging rights to the video, but we want to make money off of it. It's okay, whatever. I don't fight it. It's the WWE. I'm little old me. I can't win, you know. But Rich, buddy, pal, you know, you're not my buddy, but look, dude, every time I see you, you're doing the commentating. You're always doing something with NXT. You always seem to mess up. Just really take your time. I mean, the way you come off, I could be totally wrong about you, dude. You probably have watched wrestling for many, many years. I don't know. It's not like I can turn on the WWE network and watch Renee Young talk to you on an episode of Unfiltered. You're not on there. I don't see you on whatever Corey Graves show is, okay? I don't see you on there. I don't see you doing the breaking news things with Scott Stamford and all that. I don't see you anywhere else. I don't exactly hear a bunch of people saying, hey, have you gone to the WWE website lately? Because that Rich Brennan guy, he did a really great interview talking about his origins and blah this and blah that. And I've been pitching this for the longest, not to bore you guys, but I've been pitching this for the longest, that WWE, they need to do something exclusive on the website where they take guys like Rich, JoJo, Cody Rhodes' wife, you know, take all these new announcers that we're seeing and just spend like 3 minutes, just 3 minutes once a week. Pick somebody, 3 minutes, and we get to know this person better, understand their connection to wrestling, what led them to getting into the WWE and all that. Why are they with the WWE? What is it about the WWE that they love? That way we can try to establish some type of a connection with them. Because every single time I hear Rich open his mouth on NXT, he's always messing up. I really wish they would just get rid of him, just let him be a backstage interviewer guy. I don't mean to spend that much time on it, but for me, when I'm paying attention to the commentating and all that for these special shows, it's a big deal to me, as you can see. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. All right. And if you do, give me a hell yeah. Anyway, let's continue on. So commentating, for the most part, pretty good. Production value, very good. The attires that a lot of the wrestlers came out in looked right up there. I mean, this NXT Takeover special tonight, it kind of came off as if this was their WrestleMania. Our first match, Jushin Thunder Liger taking on Tyler Breeze. I love the women that were dressed up as different New York City landmarks, from the Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, and all that. I thought that all that nice, great touch as we see Tyler Breeze come out, and he had the little selfie stick and looked like he just killed a lion or something. I wasn't sure if I was watching Tyler Breeze or Spider-Man villain Kraven the Hunter, okay? But great freaking opening to NXT Brooklyn between these two guys. I mean, can you just imagine Tyler Breeze? He was probably sweating bullets leading up to this match against Jushin Thunder Liger. And I'm sure his peers were like, you got this, man? Are you really ready for this? Do you really think you can hang? And he's probably like, yeah, I got this, man. I know I got it. But I bet you, he was sweating bullets. It did not show in this match. I thought, even though he lost to Jushin Thunder Liger. A lot of people are under the impression that maybe Tyler was going to win this because some people were like, well, wait a minute. If this is like the first time that Jushin is doing something with the WWE, then why is he doing something to the point where, he needs to win? He doesn't need to win because Tyler Breeze is going to be there the next night going forward. If anybody needs to get the W, it needs to be Tyler. And I was kind of like seeing that same thing, but I just couldn't help but kind of like really, really look at this monumental move that WWE was able to do in acquiring the services of Jushin Liger and saying, you know what? This can't be a one-time deal. They're probably going to do something with him later down the road. Don't be too surprised if before this calendar year is out that maybe Jushin might do something with the WWE again, or maybe first quarter of next year. But I think they sat down. I think they were able to work out some type of a deal. I think we're going to be seeing Jushin again. I'm not a betting man. If I were, my money, we're going to see Jushin again. So I thought it was, honestly, I had no problem with Jushin picking up the win over Tyler Breeze. Breeze did not choke. I know some of you guys like to look at matches and you look for little screw ups here and there, and I like to just really kick back and just watch the match in its entirety. It's got to be something substantially like that was definitely a major screw up. But Tyler Breeze, I'm just amazed at this young man. I really am. Can he be brought up to the main roster already? Because I would love to see him and Dolph Ziggler maybe form some type of a heel tag team. I think that would be awesome. Maybe if like Dolph Ziggler took him under his wing and tried to be his protege or whatever. I think that would be kind of awesome. And then eventually Tyler Breeze kind of turns on Ziggler. It'd be better than having Ziggler always get like attached to a woman every year. It seems like there's always that quarter or that quota that needs to be met by Dolph Ziggler every year. He has to hook up with a woman for X amount of months. You all know what I'm talking about. You've been checking out your WWE product for an extended period of time. Again, Jushin Thunder Liger picking up the victory over Tyler Breeze. We did have a pre-show match. I did not get a chance to see that one. Your pre-show match, actually, yeah, it was a pre-show match. It was a 8-man tag team match. That one saw Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy, Zack Ryder, and Mojo Rawley defeat Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder. Now, I did not get a chance to check out that pre-show match. I was tied up trying to fix some loose ends. So for those of you that saw that pre-show match, do me a huge favor on Spreaker. You saw that match, post your comments, let the folks know that's going to be listening. How did you like that pre-show match? YouTube, leave your comments down below. Let folks know what you had thought about that match. And hopefully this is something we can all like go back and maybe check out on YouTube or on the network at a later date. Another match, I didn't even see this one, but I guess this one had happened on the pre-show match as well. Eva Marie taking on Carmella. As far as I know, I didn't see it on the actual card itself, and I was watching the NXT Takeover event from the moment that it came on. So I don't know if that was a dark match or what. So community, I'm relying on you guys to not only let me know what was up with that 8-man tag team match, but also Eva Marie taking on Carmella. I know Eva Marie, she's got a lot of eyes on her right now because she's been getting a lot of training in with D. Brian Kendrick. And a lot of people, from the little bit that they've seen so far, haven't really been too impressed. So I know there are those fans that care a great deal about what is going on with Eva Marie and her in-ring ability. So community, represent. Let me know what you had thought about that match as well. Another one that we had was Bull Dempsey. Bull Dempsey defeated Elias Samson. Once again, Bull Dempsey defeated Elias Samson. Is it just me, or is like a lot of these matches that I'm going over so far, for those of you that maybe did like me, you didn't watch the NXT pre-show, you're kind of like, well, that explains it. Okay, somebody just hit me up with a message. They said, Lee, the matches that you're going over so far, those were taped to broadcast on a future episode of NXT. So I apologize for you guys for doing a little bit of spoilers right there, but it's all good. Yeah, let's continue on. All right, so the Vaudevillains, love these guys. You know, when I first started covering NXT and it came to these guys, I just couldn't put my finger on them. They were irritating, but there was something about them that I really enjoyed. And it was like, well, what is it exactly? What is it? And a couple of things came into my mind. It was the fact that they were a throwback to like 1920s or 1930s wrestling. And then the fact that once you got past the black and white stuff, you know, the monochrome entrance and all that, and you just see them get on down there to the ring and they do their thing, the guys were actually pretty freaking good. Pretty freaking good. And I don't know, it took some time, but eventually I just started to come around, and I'm proud to say I'm a Vaudevillain fan. I really like these guys a lot. I've always had a problem with Blake and Murphy. If you were reading my tweets earlier, one of the things that I put out there was, oh, wow, because I hadn't seen Blake and Murphy in such a long period of time. Because I don't actually watch NXT regularly because I'm watching other stuff, trying to get back into watching NXT regularly again without missing so many episodes. But when I was watching Blake and Murphy, it was like, which one's Blake, which one's Murphy, because they both look exactly the same. So what really like separates these guys, you know, what characteristics, you know? And eventually it started getting to a point where they still had the same look, but then they start having the text on the side of their pants. One's Blake and the other one's got the same attire, but his says Murphy. So it's like now you got to look at the pants leg. And it was kind of like, I said it on our shows a long time ago. I said they got to do something drastic with their appearance. You know, one has to get a different hair color style, shorter hair, something. I also had said that, you know, maybe, you know, one could wear a certain attire and another one could just wear something completely different, but they got to do something. And they're coming along. I mean, now that the two have distinct appearances, I unfortunately cannot remember who the blonde haired one is, but I couldn't help but just really look at the blonde haired one and say, you know, he's got something. He might be able to go kind of far. I'm seeing bits and traces of Lance Cade when I look at this guy. Those of you help me out, the blonde haired one. I love their attires tonight, though. Even though it was matching, I thought it was awesome. To the best of my knowledge, that they were paying homage to Iron Man. I'm a big comic book guru as it is, so if they weren't paying homage to Iron Man, I'd be shocked to hear it. But thought it was pretty badass that they had the Iron Man attire going on. But their title reign, it always rubbed me the wrong way. I always felt they never had any business becoming the tag champions. And then when they did become the tag champions, it was kind of like, okay, well, that's great, but can you show some personality? Can you back up the reason, the justification of you being in this position as the tag team champions, NXT tag team champions at that? And they were never really able to sway me over. And truth be told, I really did not start becoming interested in them until cute little Alexa Bliss got paired up with them. Because to me, it was kind of like, wow, she's really kind of going the Trish Stratus route. She's going in the TNA route with the late Tess Andrew Martin and Prince Albert. And it was kind of like, okay, all right, let's see what happens. Right, she's been making it interesting as far as I've been concerned. Great seeing Leva Bates, aka Blue Pants. I can't believe that thing like stuck with her. I thought by now her name was gonna switch up, but Blue Pants seems to be it. Great tag team match. It was a great tag team match. I'm always amazed at the great work that the Vaudevillains are able to do, but especially of Simon Gotch. Simon just really he has a unorthodox move set. He is something. He is in just a league of his own. He really is. I love that guy. Great. Vaudevillains NXT Tag Champions. Now to probably what was dubbed the most eagerly anticipated WWE NXT in-ring debut. I am talking about Apollo Crews, better known as Ua Nation. You guys that are familiar with Ua Nation, you know he was doing his work down in Dragon Gate and other affiliates. And oh my God, let me tell you, I got to spend a few minutes. Look, if I can go on a little rant talking about Rich Brennan, I got to spend a few minutes talking about Apollo here, okay? Look, let me tell you something. I put this tweet out there and it was popular amongst a lot of people. I don't know where it stands right now, but I saw it kept getting retweeted and favorited. Let me tell you something. This Apollo dude, this boy is good. This boy is really freaking good. How good is he? You, if you did not watch NXT Takeover tonight, you will be so amazed at the speed, at the agility of this big man. This guy, I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, he's like, and I don't want to exaggerate, but he's got little bits and pieces of Brock Lesnar meets Bobby Lashley meets Rey Mysterio meets I need one more name in there. We got Brock Lesnar, we got Bobby Lashley, we got Rey Mysterio. I'll put Kofi Kingston in there or Shelton Benjamin. I mean, he's got like a little bit of something of all of these guys to the point that it's like if you were trying to create like the perfect package of a wrestler, you would get Apollo, aka Ua Nation. This guy is just so undeniably good that is just insane. I mean, every 20 something years or whatever, you get like a good breed of wrestlers that will come along and it's like, my God, this is what the wrestling industry has been waiting for. This is the guy. And Apollo is that guy. Let me put it to you this way. I think Vince McMahon, Triple H and crew, I think they found if they do this right and Apollo keeps his nose clean, he stays out of trouble and everything. I think in my heart, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, they have their next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's how good this young man is. The future is whatever this young man decides it to be. His fate is in his own hands. He can steer that bad boy wherever he wants to go. But this young man, I just couldn't help but look at him. And it was funny, like, as I was thinking this, and I put a tweet out there. I said, you know, in all my years of seeing big men in wrestling, Apollo takes the cake. He is in a league of his own, and I gave Triple H and crew credit. I say great signing that you guys had did. He's definitely a future champion. I just hope he's able to get there. And just to kind of take it a step further, those of you that remember my conversation with JTG of Crime Time a couple of months back, if you didn't listen to it, it is on the downloads and also on YouTube and our guest exclusive section. This guy, there was a topic that me and JTG had talked about. We were talking about whether or not a day will ever come where we'll see an African American as a champion. I really had homed in on that one because when you just look back in WWE history, Latino was the champion at one point. Um, you had an Italian that was a champion at one point for the company. Of course, you had your white person in there, but something that's always like a big topic is how the African Americans they really haven't, and some they go with the whole Dwayne the Rock Johnson and all of that. I don't want to stir that up again, but there's a reason why people will say, well, what about a guy like a Bobby Lashley or a guy like a Kofi Kingston or a Shelton Benjamin? And when you just go down the list, it's kind of like, how come these guys, will a day ever happen where, you would have thought maybe Ron Simmons would have been that guy, but he wasn't that guy. And it was a great conversation that me and JTG had about race, as far as if it plays a factor in moving up the corporate ladder in WWE and all that. I think Owen Nation, aka Apollo Cruz, is that guy that can break down those barriers. I think he is the one that WWE, because I think in WWE's defense, maybe it's just been that right guy coming along. And I've always been a firm believer that if Bobby Lashley would have stayed with the WWE, you look at the position that he was in leading up to his exit from the company, he probably would have been at least a one-time WWE champion. So honestly, I think that it's kind of funny how things just kind of come back full circle. But Apollo Cruz, Ua Nation, fantastic in ring debut. Definitely picking up the W over Ty Dillinger. Ty Dillinger, he's doing this whole 10, 10, 10 thing. I was just screaming at the TV. My God, that's freaking Diamond Dallas Page when he had Baby Doll, and he was always looking for the perfect scorecard rating for whatever he was doing to his opponent. I'm like, come on, let's get a little bit more original. Switch up, man, switch up. But whatever you got to do to get a reaction, he's getting something. It's not much, but it's something. Samoa Joe taking on Baron Corbin. This was a submission match. I thought this was going to be a very stiff match, an extremely stiff match. Boy, was I wrong. I was totally wrong. We didn't get that. Um, these boys, they was really trying to hurt one another. I mean, from what I could kind of remember of this match, mostly it was basically chops. You had your clotheslines in there. Yeah, yeah, there was a lot of chops. That's the one thing that stood out in my mind the most. A lot of chopping was going on in that match. Samoa Joe defeating Baron Corbin by submission. Been watching Baron Corbin for a while now. I got to say, just as far as his offense goes, I was quite pleased with the way he was able to handle himself with the journeyman in a Samoa Joe. He stood his own very well, very well. I'm just curious what is next for Baron. I know there's a lot of people. I'll definitely drink some of that Kool Aid or ice water in my case over here. A lot of you are under the impression that Baron's kind of run his course in NXT. Maybe it's time for him to move on, and if he does move on, what could that perfect scenario be? A lot of you all want to see him maybe come on up to the main roster and maybe be part of the Wyatt family. I can see something like that happening. I guess the real question we need to ask ourselves is, with the current landscape of NXT, could Baron Corbin continue to thrive there to the point that maybe one day he would become an NXT champion? Sadly, I don't see that hand dealt in his favor. Not with the current roster that they have right now in NXT. I don't see it happening, unfortunately. And as a result of that, people are going to get lost in the shuffle. I think, honestly, what they could probably do with Baron, if it was me personally, if the team in NXT are starting to run out of ideas on what to do with him, which I honestly I would find that to be very shocking. With a guy like that who has a great look, chicks dig him. guys think he's a badass mother lover, you should be able to do something with that in NXT. But if it's getting a little bit too crowded, I say put him on SmackDown. Let him be an exclusive guy on the SmackDown brand. At this point, SmackDown needs to be going in that direction anyway, since they're going to be, I think next year, they're going to be live and exclusive on the USA Network. They got to start doing something that can give folks a reason to want to watch SmackDown again on a regular basis. And I remember when we had the whole draft extension thing going on and all that. I have friends and family that watch SmackDown because they knew they were going to be able to see certain stars on there. So if they can kind of get back to that point again, I think Baron Corbin, I think he would do phenomenally well on there. Let him follow in the footsteps of a Ryback. Let him follow in the footsteps of a Cesaro. Just to name a few. I think he would do very well on there if they left him on this blue brand for a little bit. One of my favorite matches of the entire night, as it was set up by Stephanie McMahon. Yeah. Are we a bit tired of Stephanie McMahon coming out and basically saying, "Oh, the Divas Revolution"? Now look. See, they're noticing what we're saying on social media. Before, it really kind of came off as if Stephanie McMahon was taking all the credit in the world for what was going on with this Divas Revolution thing and all that. But now she started switching it up. Now she's saying, well, it began here in NXT. And it's funny that they're now saying that. I've been saying that now for the past couple of weeks, just recently. And I think it's kind of funny because it's like we all basically called BS. Like, Stephanie, you didn't know the girls in NXT have already been doing their whole thing. My whole deal is I'm just getting a little bit sick and tired of this whole, like, every single time something good happens with the WWE, within the WWE, there always seems to be like some type of, well, this is so cool, we got to put some type of a brand name behind it to like make it our own. We've got to own it. You know, and I just wish they would just get past that stuff sometimes and just let things just naturally take course, let it run its cycle. Anybody else a little bit confused with Stephanie McMahon, Triple H? I mean, on the one hand, you get them on the red or blue brand, or the red and blue states, politic talk there. Uh and they're like, "Rum, rum, 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 rum." And then like when you get them on NXT, they're the good guys, and it's just so bleh. That's all I got to say about that. Bailey taking on Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks coming out like a true boss, black Cadillac, nice big beefy black guy, bodyguards surrounding her, badass entrance to the ring. Bailey just kind of, she had a new attire. I'll give her that. You could tell it was emotional right before the bell rung. I don't know if it was just me, but could you tell, like, right as these two girls were starting to come face to face with one another, Sasha Banks, she kind of got a little bit emotional. You could tell, like, I don't know, she just kind of came off as if she was ready to cry right there, but somehow she was able to just regain her composure. And I got to tell you, when I look back on like matches of the night, hands down, number one goes to Sasha Banks, Bailey, those two girls. Oh, especially the insane uh, monkey backflip, if you will, that Sasha Banks had did over the referee, over the ropes, on to Bailey. Oh, it was an insane spot, and a lot of people popping over that. Great, all around. I mean, these girls did just a phenomenal job. Those of you curious, Sasha Banks did bring the NXT Women's Championship. You would hope that she would. After all, the belt was on the line tonight. She did bring it. It was. I got to tell you, and I got to use this analogy. Watching Bailey, who made history tonight, she defeated Sasha Banks to become the NXT Women's Champion. Watching her do it, I just couldn't help but really, really feel proud for her, because I've been watching her for such a long period of time now since she's come up in NXT, and just the underdog story that she's had taking her to where she is now, coming off as an outsider, wanting to be accepted amongst her peers, wanting to feel appreciated. And I don't know why this woman's name just popped in my head, but when it popped in my head, those of you older wrestling fans out there, you'll kind of get the connection that I'm making here. But in a lot of ways, Bailey reminds me a lot of the late Gilda Radner. She reminds me of her a lot. Now that I've said that, they actually look kind of similar. Um, and if you've watched the specials that's aired over the years on Gilda Radner, you've seen that as much as she loved making people laugh and all that, there was also that side of her that wanted to be accepted, wanted to be loved, especially in her love life and all of that. And I always forget which cast member it was. I don't think it was Bill Murray. I think she had the hots for Chevy Chase, but like Chevy Chase was like a total douchebag to her, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, I didn't get my guys mixed up. You veteran SNL watchers, correct me if I messed that up. Uh, but you just look at Gilda trying to be accepted and all that, and you just kind of apply that to Bailey. Just an interesting. That's just my take. I haven't heard anybody with that unique take. You heard that here first, all right? Yeah. So for me, it's just really kind of awesome to see like how she started, and like to where she is now. And my only concern right now is that now that Bailey is officially the champion, that responsibility has been taken off of the shoulders of Sasha. What exactly is in the future for Sasha Banks? Because, and I don't want this to bleed into an entirely different show, but like, you can't help but say to yourself, all the great work that Sasha Banks has put into NXT, you look at what's going on with her on the main brand shows right now, and let's be honest, she's lost in the shuffle right now. She's basically like a footnote to the Bellas, which is very unfortunate because Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, all those girls, even Naomi, all those girls, I mean, they are freaking badass. Paige, I'll even put Paige in there. One of those girls deserves to be the Divas champion like right now. And it's sad that they're basically playing supporting cast to Nikki Bella right now. I don't like it one little bit. I hope that in the very near future, before this calendar year is out, one of these NXT girls, if I could put my money on one girl in particular, Sasha Banks, takes the belt off of Nikki Bella. Otherwise, the NXT experiment, the revolution, and all that is just going to be failure. I mean, I'm hoping that the powers that be are learning from what has happened so far when they've taken the Ascension, when they've taken Neville, when they've taken Bo Dallas, when they've taken Kevin Owens, just to name a few. And they're not doing too good on the main brands right now. That's not the fault of them. It's mainly on the fault of the writers. One could maybe say Kevin Dunn, entirely different show. Speaking of Kevin Owens, if you're a Kevin Owens fan, you can't really help but wonder just like how much longer are you going to stick around and be a Kevin Owens fan before you move on and try to invest stock in somebody else. Kevin Owens, fantastic debut on NXT. I mean, he just put the freaking rocket ship over his head. Watch him latch onto it and just go. I mean, he was going places. Then he ran into this thing called John Cena, and he hasn't been the same since. One could kind of make the argument his bad days really started coming around with that Beast in the East special, and he lost to Finn Balor. But I think at the time, a lot of us were kind of like, well, it's okay. He's got this program with John Cena. He's going to destroy this guy. Hell, he's probably even going to take away the United States title. And I thought this was going to be a scenario where maybe it was going to be kind of similar to Triple H versus Batista. Triple H was going to, you remember, guys, Triple H had put Batista over for three straight pay per views back to back to back. I thought maybe that was something that was going to happen, or at least the end result was going to be Kevin Owens walks away with the United States title. But no, it's like just been this steady decline for Kevin Owens that you get to tonight. Great ladder match for the NXT Championship. Um, Interesting signs that were there in attendance. Great crowd reaction for the most part. A couple of chants that I didn't quite understand. There's actually this, I saw this on Twitter. There's this one sign that's floating around of this girl who's in the crowd section. She looks like she might be in her, I don't know, she looked like she might be in her 20s or whatever. And she just had this sign that said, "Face F me, Finn." Yes, this was a woman with the sign that actually. So you're kind of like, whoa! And real quick, before I talk a little bit more about the main event match, just to give you guys a good idea of the crowd in attendance. The crowd in attendance, I mean, it was like mostly all guys. It was almost like if you were changing the channel, you'd have swore like you went back to the Attitude Era almost. I was just really amazed at like how many adults were there in attendance. I really didn't see that many kids there. I thought that was very interesting. It was almost kind of like, well, you kids, you go on, Daddy, Uncle Joey, and we got this grown up thing that we're doing over here. It was very interesting, just the atmosphere of the crowd in general. Definitely a real wrestling crowd. I know WWE doesn't like that word, but I'm gonna call it for what it's worth. A real wrestling crowd was there in attendance tonight. Really helped create a lot of great moments that you take away from a lot of these matches overall throughout the course of the night. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens ladder match, NXT Championship. For me, I gotta be honest. For me, this match, I actually preferred their match the previous time, Beast in the East. I enjoyed that more than this match. I don't know. There was just something not quite clicking between these two for this match. I mean, it was a decent match, but I enjoyed their first encounter in NXT Beast in the East more so than this. That's just me. I thought it was a subpar average match. I thought there was going to be some type of a weird finish at one point towards the end because Finn Balor was on top of the ladder and he's just kind of reaching out for the title. And the way he just kept procrastinating grabbing it, you're kind of saying, is somebody about to come out? Maybe Sami Zayn? What's going on here? And finally, we saw him go to the top of the ladder and he did the double stomp onto Kevin Owens. Then he climbed up the ladder after he reassessed it, moved it and everything, right location. Kevin Owens tried to climb up the ladder. Finn gave him some nice, good, strong boots to the head or kicks to the head. And Finn Balor pretty much was able to climb to the top, grab the ladder, grab the belt off the ladder. And that was it. I mean, that was pretty much the end of the match. But a bit subpar for me, for my book. Best matches of the night. I got to give it up to. I'm gonna give it up to Bailey, Sasha Banks, Apollo Crews, Ty Dillinger, the Vaudevillains taking on Blake and Murphy, And for sure, Jushin Thunder Liger, Tyler Breeze. I'm just a sucker when it comes to anything Jushin Thunder Liger. I've been really making it my business to really brush up on him a lot more. I checked out a little bit of his matches off and on throughout the years, but it's really nice to be able, now that I'm older, to like really kind of go back and re-jog my memory on certain things. Overall tonight, scale of 1 to 10, I got to give tonight's NXT Takeover special. I got to give it a respected. I'm gonna say 7.5 out of 10. Respect to 7.5 out of 10. Definitely a good, shot in the wrist there. Get you ready for SummerSlam. I'm excited. I can't wait. Let's get to you guys' comments. This is my favorite part of the show now. We're doing okay. We're almost like hitting the hour. I think if I can wrap this up in about 4 minutes, that would be fantastic, because I did want to try to keep this to under an hour. So I'm going to show some love to Spreaker first. I see there's a couple of comments coming in right here. Aisha, what's up, homegirl? Aisha said, love the show. Love you, Aisha. Thank you so much for checking out the show. And Kingsley had some very interesting things to say. Let's see if we can pull you up here. He's talking about Apollo, of course. He says, Lashley had it. I don't understand why he never became champion. Honestly, I think because he left too soon. I'm not going to rehash all that, because that's a different show. But for those of you curious what was going on with Lashley, I'll gladly talk about it on next Tuesday's podcast. Kingsley would continue on to say, Apollo was great. A guy his size moving that fast. He did a backflip. Crazy. Yeah, and then don't forget, he also did the flip off of the top rope. Remember when he went on the side and he jumped on the top rope, and then I think he did like a 450 or something like that. It was like, I hope I don't have my matches mixed up and I'm thinking PJ Black versus EC3 because I know Apollo did a flip and it was kind of like, whoa, he did that. It was like, that was badass. I might have my guys mixed up. A lot of wrestling I've been watching leading up to tonight. Let's see what else we got here. Kingsley, what else you got? Give me a little bit more. Yes, the entrances. Yes, everybody had a very solid entrance tonight. I'll definitely give them that. Tyler's stood out to me the most, and Sasha's for sure. Definitely awesome. Yes, I can't wait to see him on the NXT show myself. I look forward to seeing what they're able to do with him. But we got to go back to that girl with the, this is what I'm gonna do for you guys. I'm actually gonna share this on our Facebook page so you guys will see what I'm talking about with the girl that says face F me Finn. Hilarious. You guys got to check this out. It's hilarious. All right. And let's go to YouTube now. I see there's a couple of comments on Twitter, I think. I'll see if I can show you guys some love real quick. Looks like I'm not getting my wish on keeping it an hour. We got a favorite on one of our retweets from Diamond Dallas Page, because the tweet that we put out there, I said Ty Dillinger dishing out tens like classic real DDP, can't outdo the classic, baby. And Diamond actually he favored that. And, that's our guy, man. Love Diamond Dallas Page. We had the opportunity to interview him a while back. Great fun conversation. Check it out when you guys get a chance. It's on the downloads and also guest exclusive section on YouTube. All right, let's see if we got some comments here from YouTube here. I'm not getting off the air till we show you guys some YouTube, some love here. Jokes on You said Diva stole the freaking show. Score 11 out of 10. I gotta admit, when I really, let me go back to the card one more time. And if I gotta be honest, I've always been a big supporter of women's wrestling, especially on the independent circuits and all. Jokes on You, I gotta agree with you. I thought Sasha Banks, Bailey, other than Apollo Crews and Ty Dillinger, Yeah, I think the girls really they brought it. It was like they had one hell of a chip on their shoulder, man, for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Sajay still, as far as a black WWE champion, his whole thing is if Lashley couldn't, then it won't happen. Say, Jay, you sound like you didn't watch, and I could be wrong. I don't like assuming. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But to me, just with that statement, you kind of come off as if you did not watch NXT Takeover tonight. Because if you would have watched it, you definitely would be sharing in the same sentiments as me and other people when we go, wow, forget about Bobby Lashley, like Ua Nation, aka Apollo Cruz. This is the freaking guy. If you didn't watch the Takeover special, go back and watch. And I'm gonna save you the trouble right now, and I won't approve that comment because I don't want people like coming at you and like saying we gotta start a little bonfire with your comment. So I'm gonna save you on the hassle right now, man. All right. Other than that, let's see. I think that's I think that's it. I think that's it for comments. If there are more comments coming in, I'm not seeing them right now. I see we got a decent amount of people that's viewing us right now. Welcome. Before you guys leave, do me a huge favor. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Share this a number of ways. Facebook it, Google Plus it, retweet it. One of the many ways you spread a good word about our content. I'm going to go on ahead and say that's it. We got one show in the books. So we got one more to go. That's going to be WWE SummerSlam. That's going to be happening at 10:50 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after SummerSlam concludes. We'll be doing the simulcast here on YouTube and also on Spreaker.com. I'm going to devote a good amount of time before the pre-show kicks off, and I'm going to make sure that we have the phone lines and all that set up because I want to hear from you guys. Very rare we open up our phone lines, so I want you guys to represent for that SummerSlam post show. Call in, share your reactions with everybody else on what you thought about the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Again, 10:50 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.com and also on Spreaker.com. And if you cannot join us live, even more the reason why you check out the links down below so that you can check out the episode on demand on great platforms such as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, all over the place. Use the keywords the RCWR Show. All right, guys, that is going to do it. We're going to shut this bad boy down. Let's do this again. I will see you Sunday night for our SummerSlam Super Post show. Until then, everybody, be safe, be kind to one another. Do take care.